Hey, what's going on? How you doing today? This is Uncle Steve's Lounge. I am Uncle Steve. I am so glad that you could join me today. We are going to talk a little bit about the Atlanta Falcons, who in 3 days will have their first preseason game here in the ATL against the Detroit Lions. Not a lot of storyline to talk about as far as our starters sound like they might be sitting out. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes and a couple more questions that you have going into the 2025 season. We appreciate you joining us on a Tuesday. Let's get back and talk about it.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good time.
Hey, what's going on again? This is Tuesday night, and you're with Uncle Steve. I guess it's our late version of the Monday Minutia that we planned on coming on, but we had some things that go on. We will have the Monday Minutia on a regular basis during the season when the Atlanta Falcons kick off everything for the regular season. We do plan on having a little bit more of a schedule, having the obviously the Sunday after game show, depending on what's going on during the uh, after the game. If I'm at a game, I usually come on about 7 or 8 that night. If it's an away game, I usually come right after the game. So look forward to that. Hopefully, we'll have a little bit more of a consistent schedule so everyone will get a chance to see what's going on. How's everyone doing, man? If you're here in the Georgia area, it feels like it is October more than it feels like it's August, but I guess that's a good thing. I know they say things will start warming back up in the next couple of days, but a little bit of a reprieve from the very hot weather and a little bit of rain. Hopefully, everybody's okay. I know a little too much rain in some areas, but we are dry in here and we want to talk Atlanta Falcons football. And as we come closer towards the preseason, I know you start getting those questions that, you know, those questions that everybody starts asking, and sometimes they get on your nerves, but I do, as a Falcon fan, you got to concern yourself about, things going on with the team. I- As much as I do love the aspect of training camp, I know we put a lot of emphasis on it because those are new faces. Want to see everybody get acclimated. Great to see the fans go out there. I mean, the pictures I've seen, except today, they canceled it today. They probably practiced inside, but just to see the enthusiasm of the fans, including myself this year, I think we all see the infusion of talent this year, and just a matter of, folks, we get over the hump this time. Fun fact: we are we have the second longest playoff less streak in the NFL, only behind the Jets. We are tied with Carolina right now. Like every other team in the NFL has been to the playoffs in the past 7 seasons, except for your Atlanta Falcons. So we want to change that up and hopefully change the energy of things going on. And the enthusiasm has been awesome. But we have those questions that I know some of you want to talk about, and we're going to do that today. Just a free for all, free form, just to talk about those things. First, I want to say hello to all of you coming in here for me. I appreciate it. It's never underestimated how you could spend your time, and I'm glad you spend your time coming on and talking to your uncle. It is appreciated. Brother John Higgins is in the house. What's happening with you? We want to see too much on Friday, but I'll be watching. Can't be with you on tonight, but I'll be listening. One love, brother. Go Falcons. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for listening. And Big John, you're absolutely right. I mean, we're not going to solve the world's problems on Friday's preseason game, but we will get a chance to see some of the young guys. Hopefully, we get a chance to see our first round picks out there. Probably not long, but long enough just to see how they, one, look in a Falcons uniform, and two, see how they move around against another NFL team on the other side. We appreciate it. Billy Mills is in the house. What's up, man? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. As you all are coming in, if you don't mind, whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on Twitter, X, we appreciate you watching. Please hit that like button for me on YouTube and Facebook. And if you haven't subscribed already on YouTube, we appreciate it. Obviously, it's been an off season where the subs has been pretty slow. No big deal here. Just make sure you tell your friends going into the 2025 season that Uncle Steve's Lounge is here, and we are here to root on these Atlanta Falcons. Winston Thornton is in the house. Usually on Wednesday evening. They're the late night group that have a lot of good debating on that show. He says, "What's going on, in chat? Appreciate you. Lisa Shepard is here. Hey, Lisa. Checking in. Falcons football is back. It is back indeed. I look every time, the training camps are nice. The off-season things are nice. The meet with the, players, all that stuff is great. But there's nothing like seeing Atlanta Falcons players out there in full pads going against another team with different uniforms on the other side. I love it. Dondre is in the house. Dondre say, "Hey, Uncle Steve, I got a big question for you. What is your opinion of a good 2025 record for the Falls? I guess for the Falcons. I'll say 9-7. Well, it's probably not going to be 9-7 because they got 17 games. But if you ask me right now, I think I've been somewhere between 11-6 and 10-7. I really do think it's going to fall right in that area this year, and I think I feel a little bit more confident about that prediction. Rounds one, what's going on? How you doing out there? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Andre also says, "What position in preseason do you want to see the most if it has improved from last year?" It's obviously got to be the defensive side of things. Just to see what the defensive line has brought, the influx of Coach Ulbrich and Nate Ollie on the line, coaching people up just to see. I mean, this group is going to be interesting. We brought in a couple of folks. Morgan Fox came in from the Chargers. Rook, he got a couple of games in, but just like Penix, we haven't seen him a whole season. David Onyemata, which I'm telling you right now, I'm pretty shocked that he's still on the team. And seeing as how they got rid of Grady, when they got rid of Grady, I thought to myself, I said, "Oh, they're getting ready to do a wholesale change and just let the vets go and bring in the kids." But David Onyemata is here, and he's penciled in as a starter. So, hey, let's see what happens. And then, of course, adding the veteran Leonard Floyd out there on the edge, and then the young guys out there. It's going to be on the defensive side, Dondre. It's got to be whatever we do on the defense. Shaka Zulus. Good to see you. Thank you again for joining us. I appreciate you. Dondre said, if I had to put a song with the Falcons, it would be the Mississippi Mass Choir. I'm not tired yet. Wow. I'll try to tell you that. Hey, I hear you. Georgia, Texas boy in the house. What is Unc Steve and Falcons family? The new era is here, and the Atlanta Falcons will rise in 2025. I have that feeling as well. Party man is in the house. My man James Antone. What's going on, brother? I always see you out there doing your thing, man. Love the passion you bring, man. Thank you for joining us again here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Look forward to seeing a great year this year with our Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully you'll be here for the party as well. Lisa says 10-7 won the division last year. I want us to have double-digit wins. I think it's been a long time since that has happened. I think I know a lot of people don't want to, because they're the quote-unquote rivals of the day. A lot of people don't want to give Tampa Bay a lot of credit. Yeah, Tampa Bay's not going anywhere. But I still think with the team we have and the infusion of youth we have on our defense, I like our team overall better than I like the Buccaneers. And I just think that's going to be our competition this year. And you got to recognize your competition. Look, Carolina fans, y'all happy. We made the end of y'all year. Y'all could keep hope alive. We down. We got you. But at the end of the day, I think this is going to be a two-horse race between the Falcons and the Bucks. And I think the Falcons this year made the moves that they had to do. I did see Tampa Bay sign Teddy Bridgewater today, which is kind of interesting. I guess they don't have any faith in was Trask, I think, the quarterback there backing them up. So I don't know. Kenzel's in the house. What's up, Uncle Steve? Can't wait to see this new look defense and tight end Joshua Simon. Listen, I heard so much about him from my buddy Big Low Country Sports. I am very interested to see a couple of players, and I'm going to talk about that in a quick second. A couple of players that we've been talking about in the offseason. And again, I don't try to pretend that T-shirts and shorts impress me. I know what it is. I know they're having fun out there. People have fun talking about, pass plays and stuff like that. But now that you have another team clearly with a bullseye on our uniforms, now you're going to see what's really going on with the Atlanta Falcons. James says, good evening, Mr. Steven. I love our team profile this year. Yeah, man. It's an upgrade. The upgrade in talent is just the most obvious thing that I've seen this year. And that's why I think you see a little bit more excitement. That's why that hill up at Flowery Branch was filled to the rim, because I think people feel the excitement of this team coming on. Brother Dwayne in the house. Thank you for joining us here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Can't wait to chop it up with you this year as we are going to have a winning season. I'm calling it right now. We will have a winning season for the Atlanta Falcons. So look forward to chopping it up with you all this year. Georgia Texas boy say, I'm starting to think that the Panthers fans are more delusional than Cowboy fans. Listen, man, as bad as we've been the last 7 years, because it's kind of hard for us to poke too much fun at the Panthers, because as I was saying, aside of the Jets, the Atlanta Falcons and the Panthers are tied for second for the most years without a playoff berth. So I guess maybe they love commiserating with us. I don't know, but yeah, they're kind of confused. Look, Bryce Young, that was a sweet, nice little comeback he made at the end of the year. I just don't feel like their whole team is there yet. Not yet. Jamal's in the house. What's going on? Not worried about the Panthers. It's rare for a team to got from 5 wins to double digit wins. Usually, it's a gradual process. Oh, yeah. For them to get double digit wins, you would basically have to have the Atlanta and Tampa Bay team all kind of crumble at the same time. I don't think that's happening. I don't see that happening one bit at all. Not at all. It also says Keenan Allen has signed a 1-year deal to return to the Chargers. Not a shot. Not a shot. I thought I don't know why for some reason I thought he had signed a 1-year deal with Green Bay, but maybe he didn't. I thought he did in the offseason. But either way, good for him. He's probably he would have been nice to have as a veteran wide receiver. I am a little concerned about the wide receiver depth, quite honestly, and we'll talk about depth here in a few minutes. But I did want to address a couple of questions. I know a lot of us are talking about them, and these 4 questions have kind of come to my head. So I'm going to put them out there. There's no order, there's no rhyme or reason. And obviously, if there's anything else you all want to speak about, feel free to speak about it on Uncle Steve's Lounge. We can change gears very quickly. So whatever you want to hone in on, we can do that. But these are 4 questions that over the last few days I've been kind of hearing hints of, and I've said to myself, let me talk to people about this just to see how they feel. The first thing is just very recently, of course, Raheem announced that Penix nor Kirk Cousins is going to play in the first preseason game, which is really not a super shock because most of the time the starting quarterbacks don't play. I know everybody's going to say, but Mahomes played that, but that's Mahomes, and you know that is what it is. The majority of, I say 70% of the other teams don't usually play their starter in the first preseason game. I can see some of them either coming in game 3 or maybe next week for the second game. Are you concerned if Raheem says, you know what, Michael Penix, you're not going to play one game in preseason? I know people are going to get a little bit in their feelings about that. Something, Kurt didn't play a down last year, and it clearly started off slower. A lot of people attributed that to not being game ready. So with Penix, who only has the 3 games, yes, he only has the 3 games of experience. I thought 3 good games, but would it hurt to let him go a quarter, maybe in game 2 or maybe game 3, just to, get a feel for things? I think there's another philosophy where you think, you know what? We know what he can do. We're ready to unwrap the bubble wrap against Tampa Bay and start it off. So I would understand both ways. If I can kind of get both. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I'm not going to protest if Penix doesn't play one down. Or for that matter, quite honestly, even Kirk Cousins. If we saw Easton Stick and Emory Jones for all 3 preseason games, I'm not going to march on Flowery Branch and tell them that they don't know what they're doing. What we want to do is start the year with all guns ablazing, everybody healthy, and that's more my mentality when I start thinking about that. So that's question number 1. Are you concerned if Michael Penix doesn't play a preseason game? Question number 2, congratulations to Caleb McGarry, who was extended 2 years at a relatively cheap, for a tackle, a relatively cheap contract. You look at what some of the tackles are getting right now, you see a lot of guys getting in the $20 million range and things of that nature. Good for the Falcons that they want to keep some continuity. I think the mountain man, and he is a mountain of a man. I know he has had his issues sometimes with the pass blocking, but there is absolutely no doubt that he is a really good run blocker. And that's probably one of the reasons why they hung on to him. But do you agree with it? Do you think maybe we should have waited around to see if Storm Norton was gonna kind of do an like Newsel and do like Ryan did and kind of wait around for his turn and finally get his shot at right tackle? Now he will be under the microscope a lot this year, of course, with Michael Penix being a left-handed quarterback. So McGarry, you will see the spotlight on you. So now he's getting paid. You can get that out of the way. And just what's your feelings on that? I like it myself because it kind of keeps the guys together. Now you got Lindstrom. You just extended Jake. Did a little thing where you extended him. Newsel just signed. So really the only person you got to worry about coming up is Bergeron. And Bergeron will probably get paid a little bit. I don't think Bergeron is going to be cheap. Or Bergeron might be eventually at, that was the thought at first, whether Bergeron would move out of that guard position and possibly, if McGarry wasn't here, move over there and start playing on that tackle shot. And we'll see. Third question, James Pierce involved in another scuffle. Big deal or no big deal? I am going to lean on no big deal. I think we here in Atlanta, as far as the Falcons team are concerned, we've been so used to the choir boy mentality, dress right, good citizens, whatever. And I'm not saying, and let me make it clear, this is not saying that James Pierce is not a good guy, not a good player and undisciplined or nothing like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's been a while since that we've had someone like that you've heard been a stirrer up. But you know who the last person was who used to stir the pot like that for the Falcons? Harvey Dahl. And he turned out to be all right during that during the Michael Vick-ish era where he was acting a fool and knocking everybody off their block. I like the edge on the young man. I think he's going to be great. I listened to him talk. He seems like he is dialed into playing football. I'm pretty sure once the preseason starts and he realizes the enemy is on the other side with the and when they have the scrimmage against Tennessee coming up, he'll realize the enemy is over there. So I have no doubt that he'll get it. But do you think it's a big deal? On the flip side of that, I do want Pierce to realize that there is a time and place, because what you don't want to happen is in game time where you're so involved in all of that, and then you end up getting one of those unnecessary 15-yard penalties. Again, aggression, check. Yes. Reeling it in and knowing how to when to do those things, that's my biggest concern. So as far as he is concerned, James Pierce, big deal or no big deal as far as the scuffle he's involved in. And then something that I think it was Dondre brought up. I was trying to see who that was. I think it was Dondre brought up as far as, the positioning and the depth chart. I just want everybody to name a player that you're kind of, and I say concerned. Some of you might have some favorites on the team that have been here and might be somebody that you think, you know what, they're a good player for here and they look good in the Falcon uniform. But now that we've got a few extra players in here and maybe a couple of more talented players in here, it could be some trouble. I'm looking down the list. I'm telling you, I know a lot of people love DeMarco Hellams. I think DeMarco Hellams might be in trouble. I think when you start looking at the safeties they brought around, and remember, Bowman can kind of go in and out. I know they have him penciled in as the nickelback, but he played a lot of safety too. So, I would love to see him get his opportunity. Don't want to see anybody lose their job completely to injury, but he's somebody I worry about. Speaking of injury, Troy Anderson. Troy Anderson right now has been one of the bigger disappointments, not because of play, it's because of his lack of play. And it's a hard thing for me to act like we can't notice that you're not on the field, bruh. You could have 4.3 speed all you want, but we don't get a chance to see it. So if we don't get a chance to see it, you become a little bit expendable. And then somebody else that I saw, I remember a couple of years ago, we were all high on him. I was high on him. Said to myself, he's going to slide right into that secondary spot. Clark Phillips III. Clark didn't have the greatest year last year. And I know this is year 3, and I'm a big Clark Phillips guy. But I'm looking at, again, they bringing in some reinforcements on defense. And remember, this is a new coaching staff. Jeff Ulbrich, maybe there's something he sees. I know Jerry Gray is still here, but maybe it's a reason why they brought Kobe Bryant in here. Maybe they see some things from some of these young players that Clark may not have. And his size is probably not helping them a lot either. But I had high hopes for him coming out. So those are the 4 questions. So I'm going to go back through it one more time. And again, if you have any other questions, we can talk about that at 2. He said, 1, are you concerned if Penix doesn't play a preseason game this year? Caleb McGarry, his situation just extended 2 years. Do you agree with them re-signing McGarry? James Pierce, his extracurricular activities. Are you I don't want to say a fan of it. Do you think it's a big deal or it's not a big deal? And then also your prediction for possible player cuts for the Atlanta Falcons. Let's get back to the chat and see what everybody is thinking as far as that's concerned. And y'all came in here and started doing all of this. Judge Texas Boy say, I'm not concerned because this is a new era of football, not like prior years. A lot of teams are using these 3 games to fill out the roster as far as Michael Penix not playing at all. I got you. Say, yes, I agree. One thing we could say, Terry always works those contracts. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And also, I think we have to draft a offensive tackle eventually. Bergeron has done a good job at left guard. And actually, has he done such a good job that they might not want to move him? Maybe they're seeing that that's a good natural position for him. And we can keep him right there. And to your point, maybe draft or maybe bring in somebody else. Henry, what's going on? I'm expecting a good season from James Pierce. Yeah, that makes 2 of us. I think he's going to be great. Mactown Dirty in the house. What's going on? Uncle Steve's Lounge, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, or on Twitter, please, if you don't mind, make sure you hit that like button for your unk so we can get this thing out there and people can realize it is 2025 and I will be attending these Falcons games so I can come back and give you that firsthand knowledge of what I saw on the field. We could talk about things together and hopefully in January of 2026, we'll be talking about that first playoff games in the beans. George Texas Boy say, I think Malone goes to the practice squad. Yeah, that's another one. D'Angelo Malone. That's another guy. And it's not the fact that they're that bad. It may just be a fact that we've kind of upgraded, which is a good thing. And some of these guys that we would normally, had to throw them out there. My perfect example, I keep talking about it last year, Nate Lamon. They threw Nate Lamon out there last year. Nate Lamon was not a regular starting quarterback. He had a game or 2 that were great, but he was not a good regular everyday linebacker. And we had to get rid of him. It would have been nice to keep him on the bench and nice to have him come off, but we got some depth now. Brother Rusty Morris in the house. 15-yard penalties in games, I'll start to worry. Until then, I love the energy. We have been been far too soft for far too long. I'm concerned about Hughes. He's going to get abused at cornerback too. And here's the crazy thing. I like Hughes when he was in there last year, Rusty. I got to be honest with you. Until he got hurt. Now, when he got hurt and he came back, I don't think he was the same player. But he actually, if you think about those first few games, and not to say we didn't have moments where we were horrible, Seattle, um, obviously Minnesota and Denver. But if you think about those first few games of the year, the secondary was probably the best part of our team, especially, AJ, we didn't even talk about we didn't talk about AJ at all last year to show you how great he was. But if you think about it, Hughes had a pretty nice year until he got hobbled and went down and was never the same. So yeah, we'll see. Money in the house. He said, no big deal with Pierce. I'm concerned about Jalen Walker a little bit because of the injury, but I'm sure it's nothing to be concerned about. I think if it was a huge concern, you would not have seen him come back this week. I know, I know hamstring is nothing to play with. And you have to be very, very careful with that. I'm pretty sure you're not going to see him a lot in this game on Friday. So they'll put him in there probably enough to let the fans see what they have, what we drafted. But I don't think you're going to see. I don't think we're going to have to concern ourselves about him that much. Georgia Texas boy said Mike Hughes has been solid. Even last year, he was solid until the neck injury. Yeah, I concur 100%. Jamal says, I think Clark Phillips might be gone. Every time he plays, he get mossed, especially by State's receivers. Yeah, man. Jamal, you saw the same thing I saw last year. I think I had hope the year before. And remember, he was the top quarterback coming out of Utah. He was very solid. But I just, you should have seen an uptick. And I didn't see an uptick in him. He should have, if he was that good, it should have been an uptick where Mike Hughes may not have been needed at that second slot. But at the end of the year, we were letting D. Alford go to the nickel. That's how bad things got for Clark Phillips. Matt Town Dirty says, Anderson, the guy was a quarterback. They're not used to hitting. Now, I'll say this, though, Matt Town. When he's out there, he's not bad. He wasn't bad, but the problem is we haven't seen him out there that much. And it's hard to tell what your use is, what your value is, if you're not there on the field. Winston says, ESPN just got red zone rights from the NFL for 10% equity stake in all sports next week. I heard about that deal. I'm trying to tell y'all, folks, y'all going to get tired of ESPN. ESPN is going to be. Oh, y'all going to get tired of those. Absolutely tired. Oh, speaking of the eye test, got a super chat in the house. That's my buddy John Harris. Let me see what I got over here for John Harris. Let me see.
I look in your eyes and let you know you're with Uncle Steve. Let you know that love is really real, but it seems to me.
My brother John Harris in the house. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Y'all make sure, again, y'all check the eye test out on Wednesday evenings. He said, benefit of Pierce scrapping with the O-line is to toughen them up and build cohesion among them. They are going to have to be really gritty in this division. Not only is that a good point, John, but Bergeron even said that. He even said that has helped them out as far as that's concerned. Toughening the guys up and everything. I see you right. Georgia, Texas boy says apple juice. That's apple juice, man. Stop trying to get me. Y'all trying to get your uncle in trouble, man. Nobody do. That's apple juice, brother. Oh man, ain't nothing wrong with Corona. Y'all knock yourselves out. No, not this time. Thank you, John. I appreciate you again. Y'all make sure y'all check the eye test out on Wednesday evenings. Him and Winston be doing their thing. George Texas Boy also says, uh-oh, I just lost the thing. He said I could see CP3 or PS or cut because he isn't a Raheem guy, and we already got Bowman and offer for Nickelback. Yeah, I definitely can. I can definitely see Bowman. Bowman is gonna be in this thing, man. Bowman looks like a football player, even though he's small. He looks like a football player. Hey, but what's going on? What's going on? Said to be fair, it's hard to shine in Jimmy Lake's prevent defense. Super fair point. Super fair point. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Brad Levy in the house. What's going on? He said, we back in this thing. And also says Bijan will be the offensive player of the year. Oh, I love that. I love that. If he is, we will take it. Armani says Penix hasn't played the last game or at least the second half of the last preseason game. Anderson and Clark are expendable to me. And you know, I would love, and remember, Anderson used to play a pretty good special teams. I hope he can overcome his stuff and he could at least just play special teams. I think he's meant to be a backup player, which makes you really disheartening that they drafted him all the way in the second round, thinking he was going to be super special. I think he's probably meant to be in a backup role, but as that second round pick, man, it's going to be hard to justify. That one Falcon fan. Sit this game out. If Penix plays and gets hurt, God forbid, the same fans who criticize Morris for benching Penix will be the same fans criticizing Morris for starting him. And I agree with you to the point where I would almost rather be mad if he came out rusty at more than get hurt in game 2 of a preseason. I hear you. That's me. That's my thought, at least. Brandon Levy says the resurrection of Kyle Pitts. Okay. I hear you. I hear you. Let's hope. Let's hope they do. Say, in my opinion, if Troy isn't healthy before the last preseason game, I think it's an injury settlement. I can live with that too. Got a lot of Troy Anderson thoughts on that, the possible cut candidate. I hear you. Yeah, that same news about the red zone. That's gonna be. It could be interesting though, because I don't like the red zone. I like the guy that used to do red zone. I don't like the guy that was doing it the years before. The last 2 years, I used to got like Andrew Sigliana or whatever his name is. I used to like him more than I liked the last guy. So we'll see who gets put in that hot seat, because that's some big shoes to fill when you start talking about that. George Texas Boy says AJ balled. He gave up 2 touchdowns the whole season. That was AJ. AJ should have been close to All Pro last year. He was really good. That one Falcons fan says James Pierce brings the intensity that this defense has been waiting for. Just hope we don't get a Myles Garrett helmet situation 2.0. I hope not, man. I hope not. His girlfriend is pretty tough too, man. She be out there swinging on folks, man. I know she went up against Britney Griner last year. Britney Spears, Lord have mercy. That one Falcon fan says, regarding the record prediction, I predicted the Falcons 2025 record on my channel. I said we go 10-7. I can deal with that. Georgia Texas Boy said the ceiling for me is 12 to 13 regular season wins. I'm kind of in that as far as the ceiling. I think the floor is 10. I think the floor is 10. I really do. Brandon says Anderson is too injury prone. He is. He is. Uh, Brandon says Bowman is a young honey badger. Yeah, it kind of does seem like he kind of had those vibes. My boy Miles is in the house. What's up, Miles? He said, Steve, does it upset you that Penix isn't playing Friday or not so much? Not really, Miles. Miles, I want to see on September, what day is that? Is that the 7th, I think? Or is it the, yeah, September 7th. Miles, if I see him September 7th, healthy at the Benz, I will be happy. Nothing, I, I could care less about these preseason games for Penix right now. Matt Town says, I think the players should play. What's the point of waiting until tomorrow? Crack eggs if you're hungry today. Well, here's the big thing about that, right? Axe Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy. Axe the Falcons with Helms and Trice. I mean, you can get hurt anytime. So it's not like, I mean, but you're talking about the quarterback. You're talking about the guy that we're dependent on for the season. I'm not trying to tell you he should be put in bubble wrap and nobody should touch him ever and blah, blah, blah. What I am saying is control the things you can control. You can control whether he gets hurt. Think about Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney, if I could have had any control, I would have put bubble wrap on Darnell Mooney, especially with the stuff that happened last year. Now he's going into the year, and I'm not sure what the deal is. They hurried up and signed DJ Chark. Like he might not be back for a minute, but who knows? Brandon says Penix is going to change the whole dynamic of the offense. I think he is too. It says I'm not getting. I get not playing the starters because of so many players in the game without a guaranteed roster spot. The hunger is different. That's a good point. It's actually a really good point. Yeah, these other guys that's trying to make this roster, man, you're gonna see some play. And then Detroit, as much as they got embarrassed last week, I was telling my son when we were sitting down there, I said Detroit is they're gonna have something to prove this week. Yes, even in preseason. Brandon says Atlanta never had a real deep ball slinger. I can't wait. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. Got to give credit where credit is due. Chris Chandler could throw it out there. Obviously, Vic could throw it out there. You just had to wonder whether it was going to hit the target. It's been a minute since we had that. So we'll see. George Texas boy said we had one in Vic. He just chose to run. Absolutely, yeah, 100%. I know my boy John is old school, so I don't expect him to say anything different. Say all starters should play one series this week, skip next week because of scrimmaging against the Titans. Then all starters play a series against the Cowboys. If not, there will be rushed week 1. And there is an argument against that because remember last year how we started against the Steelers? We started against the Steelers last year. That was awful. And we let Justin Fields come in here. And, I mean, he didn't do anything. They didn't score a touchdown. But we let Justin Fields come in here and beat us. We can't have that happen. Tampa Bay team is much more talented on the offensive side. So if you mess around and be too rusty, you'll mess around and get blown out. Brandon says Vic didn't have a Penix arm. Vic had a decent arm. Penix has an elite arm. Well, I want to make sure from a talent standpoint, Vic had a strong arm. It wasn't very accurate. Now, I know there's some people that are going to say, well, Steve, Michael Penix only threw for 58% last year in the game. But I'll say you saw the quality of those passes that Penix was trying to throw as opposed to Vic. And God bless Vic because, trust me, many a days, many a hoarse voices screaming for Mike Vick when he was here. But the truth of the matter is anybody who was here during the Vic era can tell you Vic could throw it out there. It was just a matter of whether somebody was going to be out there to get it. And we usually didn't even have that many people. I think we had, what's a guy named Trailer at one time, but that was about it. Miles says, I gotta ask, and I know you'll like this question. Who are you looking for? Who are you most looking forward to seeing Friday? Pierce or Walker? Quite honestly, I wish Walker wasn't hurt because that would be an easy one for me, Miles. I want to say Walker, uh, just because I think they're. I don't know what the plan is. They're probably not going to show too much of the defense, but I think he's somebody that can really bounce around, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him. But if you had a chance to add somebody else to that list, Miles, I want to see Braylon Trice. I hope they let him play. I know he's been on the sidelines dealing with doing precautionary stuff because of the injury from last year. I would like to see Braylon Trice. I'm trying to tell y'all, when he was at Washington, that kid was really good. He was really good. And I think people were sleeping on how much of a difference I think he would have made. I'm not sure JD Bertrand would have got any run if Trice would have been healthy last year. I'm looking forward to seeing Trice. So add him to that list, Miles. I think he's going to be good too. Brandon says, how many Falcon fans glad we have a Bijan Robinson now? Let me tell you something. I remember when, and obviously you knew me and my guy, Tidy Jones from Atlanta Bird Game. We always do our draft. And I remember when they drafted Bijan, and it's they should have got I forgot big boy at with the Eagles right now. And that's fine. I mean, he turned out to be good for what they're doing there in Philadelphia. But I tell you what, yeah, Bijan Robinson is not a slouch. So I hope let's not pretend like he wasn't worth uh, that pick that they made as well. You think about the last 3 picks we've made, and then add Walker to that list with number 4. We're kind of building the nucleus of this team. When you talk about Drake, Bijan, Penix, and now Walker, you could have a really good window. And I think the window starts to open now. You know how we start talking about those windows? Atlanta's window is open. And I think we can do some things. Georgia Texas boy said defense was solid. Week 1, the offense couldn't score. Oh, they were very solid. And then you think about it too. Homeboy was kicking 50-yard field goals. I think he kicked 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't score 1 touchdown. We just couldn't get off the field. I remember Justin Fields did a good job of those third down pickups. But it wasn't like they were getting inside the 10-yard line. So Brandon said Kirk Cousins week 1 was playing like junior varsity. Oh man. Exactly. Week 1 defense gave up no touchdowns. Absolutely. Nando in the house. What's going on, man? How you doing, brother? The change up for Zach Robinson will be play action play calling this season. We only did it like 7% last season, and by calling more of it, it will free up Kyle Pitts. Let me tell you something. The play action is going to be in big demand this year because you actually have somebody with the athleticism that's going to be able to. And again, the threat of the running game, folks, aside of Detroit, and I'm going to give Detroit their due because they do have a nice punch. There's no other backfield better than the Atlanta Falcons as far as Robinson and Algier. And I heard Zach Robinson say he was going to try to use them in the backfield at the same time a few times this year. So that ought to be interesting. Jamal says, I think week 1 last year was more about Kirk still being injured than Russ. Remember, they only ran pistol because Cousins couldn't move. I believe that wholeheartedly. And you know what? I'd be willing to bet you that Kirk is going to be more mobile this year than he was last year. I'm not telling you he's going to be Lamar Jackson, but he's probably feeling better. And I know, look, we're all upset with some of the, man, I hate calling people liars because that's just so harsh. But he did not tell the truth about his injuries. And, when you don't do that, man, you could have had Penix in those games, and Penix probably could have beat New Orleans. Penix probably could have beat the Chargers. And then we wouldn't be talking about this 7-year run of no playoffs and no losing record. But I think he did some selfish things, which is probably why it's easier for him to come in this position that he is. Look, man, that brother making $37 million this year. There are no crocodile tears for Kirk Cousins. But that being said, I bet you he's in better shape and better athleticism than he was last year. No doubt. Brandon said that throw to Pitts in Washington was elite. Same throw to Drake in Carolina. The kid has heat. Oh, man. Not only he got touched, Brandon. Remember the little pass to Hodge last year? I was at that game. It was right on the sideline where I was, man. At that ball went, you saw the defensive back reaching up like, I don't know what he was reaching for, but the ball was right over his hands and right into Hodge's hand. That was nice. Dwayne says, wait. What happened to Walker? Walker had a little bit of a tweak of his hamstring, but he's actually been back since then. They let him come back yesterday, I believe. Well, was it yesterday? No, were they off yesterday? But whatever it was, they were off Sunday, and then they came back yesterday. Armani says pass rushing room is full. Trice, Walker, Harrison, and Ebiketie, who is the guy who kind of becomes lost in the shuffle. I even heard some people say, "Oh, get rid of Ebiketie." You don't get rid of Ebiketie. Ebiketie, if one thing, Ebiketie was guilty of Ebiketie overran the quarterback so many times last year. If y'all go back and watch, Ebiketie has a nice get off. He just hasn't honed it down yet. But you know what Ebiketie also is? Our leading sacker in the last 2 years combined. And that's saying something. But you don't get rid of Ebiketie. Even if he takes a lesser role, you still don't get rid of him. Lisa says, I love us when we go play action. Absolutely. And with our running game, but it wouldn't shock me either, Lisa, if we ended up going to more of a not totally copycat from Philadelphia, where we went to a really heavy running type game. Because I think you can get away with it with the guys that we have. I think you can get away with running the ball quite a bit. Matt Town says, do you think Raheem is learning how not to shoot himself in the foot with his decision making? Listen, you know what, Matt? For real, I think he and Terry have had those meetings with themselves, and they've put their names on the door in Velcro because they know if it doesn't happen this year, both of those guys are gone. And I know it was only 1-2 years for Raheem, but I believe both of them would be gone if things turn sour. I don't want to think like that, but I think he has rethought a lot of decisions that he's made. He actually has a little bit of a built-in excuse now that we found out Kirk Cousins telling the truth on the little expose they did on Netflix. Because how is he supposed to know that Kirk Cousins is hurting more than he is? I don't know, unless there's a side conversation where Kirk comes out 2 years from starting. Oh, I told Raheem. But you got to win right now. The question was put to me by my son. If Michael Penix struggles during those first 4 weeks, I mean struggles mightily in those first 4 weeks, would you go to Kirk Cousins? Raheem will absolutely go to Kirk Cousins. Raheem trying to save his job. So when you start talking about learning how to shoot himself in the foot, yeah, timeouts. But also knowing when your quarterback isn't doing what he's supposed to do. I think that's the biggest lesson Raheem has learned. You can make those calls. Easy to make them in the offseason when you're looking at tape, but you got to learn how to make those calls. And Dan Quinn was the same way. Everybody's in love with Dan Quinn up in Washington right now, but I guarantee you, I'm gonna tell him again, Dan Quinn gonna cost you one. He gonna cost you one pretty soon. And Jaden ain't gonna be able to run out of that one. Side note, man. Not even Falcons related, man. I love me some Jaden Daniels. And I love the institution of a mother caring, nurturing for their son. And I know she's the manager and all of that before everybody bring that up. But man, is that kind of weird how much she's really around him? I mean, I don't know how they grew up. I'm sure they had a relationship that was pretty close and all this and all that. But like when I see that man 24, 23? I mean, come on, man. I mean, I gotta let that man breathe a little bit. Let him breathe. Jaden Daniels is gonna be very nice. Mama gotta let him breathe a little bit. And for any mothers out there or anything that's not, I'm not trying to say the young man shouldn't love his mom, care for his mom, take care of his mom, listen to his mom's counsel. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's just something weird every time I see her. She's like right up in everything. I know we saw the little cringy video with Juju Watkins, and she comes up and sits between them. And I was like, what is all that? But I saw a little video with them where they were interviewing them at training camp. I'm like, hey, we know that's your mama. It's just weird. Just weird. Side note. Winston says AK needs to take that step forward. He should consistently put up at least 8 sacks per season. And he's almost there. He put up 5 or 6. So, you know. Amani says, at least if Terry gets fired, he went out with a bang and trying to keep his job. That's what I say. Terry, let me tell you something. Terry swung for the fences. And Terry said, like the Rams said, blank them picks. He said, I need my other edge rusher now. I can't wait till next year because I might not be here next year. So in order for me to do what I got to do, I got to go get that guy. I got to go get Pierce. Armani, I know you'll appreciate this story. You know, me and Tidy, I think you came on with us last year when we were doing the draft stuff. And when we did that, we went off the air. We left the stream at like pick number 22, and then turned around and then they picked Pierce. So we missed out on that because Terry's got to save his job. Absolutely. Willie Doc in the house. Appreciate you, brother. Always supporting the channel, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, brother. I read every comment that everyone writes after the streams are over with, and Willie Doc's one of the ones always keeping me on my toes. And Uncle Steve, you're live. Wow, good to listen to you while at work again. I you know, y'all already know I retired from my post office job here this spring. So I will probably have a little bit more flexibility to do some things. So hopefully you'll get a chance to see me a little bit more. But if you don't see me, you need to see somebody like my brother A1 Forever, who's doing his thing. What's going on, Chris Tip? More in the house. Always check him out on A1 Forever Sports. Brother, what is going on with your man? What is going on? Y'all make sure y'all check out A1 Forever Sports. Millie Mills says, OMG, tell ESPN, get their hands off the NFL Network and Red Zone. All they do is make things family friendly. All of us cousins. Listen, man. Well, you know what? I can't say that 100% because they went out and got McAfee, and I like McAfee's show. To be honest with you, I like it. I like his better than First Take. First Take has almost become unwatchable to me because uh, Stephen A. is such a character. You know, I'm just like whatever. But listen, man, you the big dog. The big dogs play. NFL is gonna make something 10%. That's a pretty good take. I think they both winning in that situation. Armani said, yeah, it is kind of strange. Is it talking about Jaden Daniels and the mother situation? Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's really weird. I said, I'll put it to you this way. If dad was around, that would not be going on. Yeah, I guarantee it. And again, that's why I'm trying to walk that fine line because I know there are a lot of great single moms out there who raise young men when there was not a dad there, and to be able to have the bond that you have with your son as a mother, that's great. I just think now sometimes when just the optics look kind of cringy. I mean, this ain't saying nothing. I'm just saying it looks kind of cringy. I can't get that picture out of my mind of him talking to Juju Watkins, and then the mom coming to sit in between them. Like what is this? That wasn't even late elementary school where your mom wouldn't even do that. So that's crazy, man. Yeah, A1, you the man, man. Birdcage in the house, man. Y'all give us this thing over at the Birdcage, man. Not only does he do his shows normally on Thursdays, but he also got Bumper to Bumper. Brother will drop in on you at any time. I know a lot of times I'll be during the day, I get my little alert and say, oh, what Ryan talking about right now? And Ryan out there illegally taping in his car while he's driving. But as long as he's safe, it's all good. I'm just messing with you, brother. Y'all make sure y'all check out the Birdcage, man. Him and his crew do a great job doing their thing out there, man. So we'll see. Billy Mills says, hey, Unc, I'm feeling that ticker you got in the back. That's fire. Thank you, my friend. If you like that, I got some more surprises coming for you in the next couple of weeks because that was just something I had a little temporary, but I got some. I don't know if y'all seen, I've been trying to work with my different locations. I got the little red light district, but not that type of red light district. Red light thing I've been doing with my other streams. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. Willie Dot, man, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, man. I got my little I'm gonna do my other little super chat for you. What we got? Used to be the chilling in Uncle Steve's lounge. Yeah. Oh, Uncle Steve's lounge. Is that right? If y'all under the age of 40, y'all gotta make sure y'all check out Boss Skaggs. Boss Skaggs was a bad boy, man. He was a bad boy in this day. Willie Dot say, in case you already addressed it, I think it's a mistake to not play starters in preseason. Don't say nothing if we start 1 and 2 and look rusty. Now, I will say, a lot of us disagreed about that because as far as I know last year, and there's no doubt, Willie, there's no doubt, Kirk Cousins, I think the difference with Kirk Cousins, though, he was also coming off that injury. And his mobility, period, made it a totally different thing to me. I think with the way they do the scrimmaging now with the other teams, and stuff, I really feel like um, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if I didn't see Penix. Excuse me. But if we saw Penix for like a series or so, I guess I wouldn't. I guess it wouldn't be as big. Is how nice love the flu. That's oh yeah, man. That's that Boss Skaggs, man. Boss Skaggs is no joke. He is the man. Absolutely. Miller Mill said, Willie, we gonna be all right, bro. I'm telling you, I don't think we gonna come out rusty at all. I think it's gonna be a little bit different. I think last year the Kirk Cousins thing, we were kind of placating to his aura, personality. I hate to say it, and I don't want to sound like there's a different energy now. Penix is a different energy. And I think that energy is gonna be easier translated from practice to the field this year as opposed to last year. Kirk Cousins Kirk Cousins hadn't fully gotten healthy. He's gonna be healthy this year. I think he's gonna be fine. Jamal says it's not about how we start, it's how we finish. Last year we started 6-3 and missed the playoffs. Arthur Smith last year we started 2-0 and missed the playoffs, and we need to be trending up late. I agree with that too. You can't. I remember. Think about where we were last year, y'all. We beat Dallas. We were 6-3. And we were technically 3.5 games up. It was either 3.5 or 2.5 games up on Tampa Bay. And I had figured it out. I said, all we had to do was go 500. And the division was ours. Or, worst case scenario, playoff spot was ours. And then we ended up only winning 2 games down the road. And those 2 games were 2 of the worst teams in the NFL in the Raiders and the Giants. Horrible. Willie Dot says, I hear you, but I just can't play scared. At least play a series. It is nothing wrong with what you. There is zero wrong with that thought process. Zero. I guess I'm saying if he doesn't play, I'm not going to protest. But I hear what you're saying. And you make a good point. You're telling Millie Mills. I said, I think we'll be all right, but we just have zero margin for error. Willie Doc is saying, folks, we can't do what we did last year and expect to have different results. I think that's what he's saying. This is why I love the idea of having different thought processes. Because Willie wants us to be 13-4 as well. But Willie's saying, hey, I hear everybody that Penix doesn't need to work. But I also remember last year, that game against Pittsburgh and that game against Kansas City, maybe if we were a little more well-oiled, those could have been 2 games that could have got us in the playoff. All right, I hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear. Brandon says Algier and Bijan gonna give defense to the Blues with the toothache. Better wrap up and tackle. Absolutely. Again, second best backfield in the NFL, next to Detroit. Willie says, don't get me wrong, I'm okay with starters not playing first game, but to not play at all, I don't know. Fair. Millie says, facts, it's because of Penix. He finna come out slinging that thing, bro. Only trying to make a name for himself and prove that he's Himothy or not. Penix, look, if y'all listen to Penix on these press conferences, man, Penix, I don't think anything's bothering him. And again, that could change with 4-game losing streaks and things of that nature. But he doesn't seem to be too high or too low. And I love that. I love that out of a young guy. Brandon says Penix has confidence. We good at quarterback, y'all. Falcons going to be a different team than last year. Watch. I believe it. Willie said, dude, I remember when we were saying didn't he work? Now, I will say to that, Willie.
Stop the cap.
Willie, now, I don't know which streaming you were watching, but you weren't watching this stream. Anybody who been in this stream tell you, I wanted Ritter to play. Matter of fact, I wanted Ritter to play in the scrimmages. I wanted him to play every minute because I didn't have any belief in that. And I don't usually play the game of I told you so and all that stuff, because to me it's useless, because if we're losing, who cares? But that year I did warn people not to crown Ritter too early. I think this is a totally different situation here because Penix literally has talent. There were teams that wanted to sign wanted to draft Penix early. The only reason Penix didn't get drafted in the top 3 was because of his injury history. That was it. Latoya, what's going on? How you doing, Latoya? Good to see you in the house. Say good to hear you, your commentary. Look forward to a great season. Oh, thank you. And look forward to having you pop in every now and then. It's going to be a different year, Latoya. We're going to try to have some smiling faces in January this year instead of all this hope 12 teams lose so we can, so we can win kind of things. Millie says, I'm not worried. None of the teams on our schedule. Matter of fact, it's a hard schedule every year, for real, for real. I just believe in the talent this year, and we got a quarterback who's going to take those chances. The talent is the key word, Millie. The talent is no joke. Willie to Uncle Steve already. Hey, man, I tried. Again, it's the only thing you'll ever hear me. The few years you've ever heard me say a thing. I have tried to defend Arthur Smith. I've defended the drafting of Kyle Pitts at times. I've defended Richie Grant. But from the jump street, there was something different about Mr. Ritter, who's actually, I think, fighting for a third string spot for Cincinnati. I know he signed with the Bengals recently. Burkay says Falcons would get to the NFC Championship. There is no reason, in my opinion, that can't happen. The NFC is wide open. Philadelphia is no doubt the cream of the crop, top of the league. Really, they are. I know a lot of people still high on Detroit too, but Detroit showed some interesting flaws last year. Still 15-2. You can't have that many flaws. But I still think the NFC is wide open. And I think the Falcons can be that team. Brandon said Uncle Steve stood on business on Ritter. Absolutely. Defense will lead us there. I hope so. I think at the end of the year, people start talking about MVP. I hope it's Coach Olbrich. I really do. I look at him and I see the way he's working with these young players, especially. You let the veterans be the veterans. It's how you do those young players. It's that same vibe in 16 when we ran out there with 4 rookies. Well, 3, and then Poole would come in. We came out there with 4 rookies and a couple of second-year players in Grady and a couple of guys and Beasley. We can do it. Jamal said, Willie, you brought back nightmares here in the neighborhood. I remember some creators were pounding the table for that guy.
I love that spin.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell y'all, I had folks coming for my neck about my opinion of Desmond Ritter. I was ducking and dodging, getting cussed out about him, and brother did not last more than that next year. Abadi says, "No, I'm gonna say it. I told him so." Trying to convince us this kid was a franchise quarterback. Then tried to compare him to Tom Brady. Situation like that's not a 1 in a billion chance. And do y'all know on the official record, on the absolute official record, this is no joke. This is no kidding. On the record, Desmond Ritter beat Tom Brady the last game of the year because he started that game. Brady started against Ritter. And when you don't leave for injury, that counts. So Desmond Ritter is 1-0 against Brady, and he was the only Falcon quarterback to beat Tom Brady when he was here. So he could tell his grandkids later on that he beat Tom Brady, even though we know the truth about that. Matt Town says, don't get me wrong. I love Penix, but imagine a world without a Drake. Yeah, Drake is, and I'm gonna tell you, Drake, you see the improvement every year. That's the one thing you can consistently say about Drake. You have seen him get better. And he had an interview where he was talking to Mike Golick Jr. of the Bleacher Report. Him and Abe was out there with him, John Abraham. They were doing that today. And he said Raheem Morris has made a difference in his approach and what he's thought of football. And so the little things, yeah, we need to get Raheem good on time management. But for these players, I think he is, pretty good. Millie says, and I feel as though we ain't gonna be able to keep JPJ on the sidelines for too long. Dude just got to do. Yeah, let me tell you something. He's gonna get his time out there, no doubt. Don't get twisted when y'all see on the practices he's running with the twos and all of that. He is going to have his opportunities. That's why they got him. You don't pull somebody back to the number 1 pick to sit around and groom him. They want results now. Willie Doc said, I remember you said Ritter was all right. You remember that? I did. There's a shout out to my buddy Big Low Country Sports. There's a video out there, and I don't know if y'all seen it on Twitter, of Caleb Williams. I guess this must have been the other day, trying to throw the ball at the net and hit those little pouches where the ball hits in. There's a deep story about that. If y'all ever ask Big Low Country Sports about Desmond Ritter and that same apparatus, he'll tell you a very similar story. Oh, man. DJ, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Good to see you coming in the house, man. Appreciate y'all coming in, man. Again, as y'all coming in, man, just make sure y'all hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. DJ says, I think this is going to be where we get back to the playoffs. This is no doubt in my mind, man. I feel I have so less of if and whatever this year. And again, that's not saying, we don't want to even say the I word happening to players. But even if 1 or 2 people do go down, I still think we have the talent enough to do it. Willie said, other than time management, how else can Raheem be better? You gotta be able to make decisions as far as the quarterback concerned. I still think even if he called himself giving Kirk Cousins the benefit of the doubt for a couple of those games, Willie, I think by the time you got to the Raiders game, I mean, we could have easily lost that Raiders game. I know we won, but we could have easily lost that game, and that would have been embarrassing. That was a Monday night game, too. We could have easily lost that game. But then I also go back and say, if a coach can see that the quarterback is not doing well, that Chargers game, man, when he was throwing up them lollipops to the Chargers got a nice team, but they ain't that nice. I mean, we just gave that game away. I know Koo missed a few field goals too. Think about the New Orleans game. Kirk Cousins, you just got hit. Or he told the whole world during the offseason he got hit. And sometimes, Raheem, as a coach, you got to be able to look in there or go to him as a man and say, Kirk, are you hurt? Because if you hurt and we need to sit you out and we got young kid on the side, let me make that decision. I think this year, Willie, you ain't going to see him ask. I think you're going to just see him say, if Michael Penix is not doing the job and you got a healthy Kirk Cousins on the sideline, you might have to make that call. I think that's what he'll do. DJ said, Riddle was such a Hey, man. Millie says, am I wrong for wanting Chark over Hodge anyway? Well, I mean, Hodge is more for the special teams anyway. I don't think Hodge is – I don't think you're depending on Hodge to be that other receiver. I will say this, Millie. I'm concerned about our wide receiver depth. As I'm looking right now, obviously Drake and Mooney, if Mooney is healthy. Ray McLeod, man, Ray put a lot of balls on the ground. A lot of balls on the ground for him. And then after that, you have DJ Chark, and it's a reason why he was available. Casey Washington, which I hope he's turned the corner, hope he's learned. Chris Blair, the Nick Nash. Everybody was talking about Nick Nash and great undrafted free agent and stuff like that, but I haven't heard anything. He's still listed at the moment as fourth string. So I don't know. I'm not saying the young man's not going to be able to do anything, but I would love to have heard that. I don't know, and we'll see. Maybe Friday he'll show up. DJ said, I almost forgot we picked up Chark. Oh, yeah. Ray got speed on him, but he did scare me quite a bit with the fumbling. I remember I was at the Carolina game, and he had a ball, not only just to have the ball in his hand, but he did one of those where he was trying to reach out. You gotta have ball security, man. And that's the only thing. Ray gets the ball in his hand in space, it's a wrap. But if he gets the ball and somebody, messes around and catches him, or every team is learning how to do the Peanut Tillman now. So you gotta hold on to that ball. That's the only thing that scares me about Ray. Only thing. Jamal says, maybe that's why they freed up some additional money with the McGarry deal. Wide receiver depth is questionable. It's so funny you said that. I was when I was looking at the ramifications of that deal and how that freed up about I think they said about $8 million or whatever it was. Who knows? The Falcons might be trying to make another move. No, not Michael Parsons. But that's a position that I'm looking at, that wide receiver position. I'm not lying to you, Jamal. I'm concerned about that. I'm really concerned because Lord forbid Drake go down. We're gonna really be in trouble. We're gonna be looking like the Georgia Bulldogs last year with no receivers. Miller says, but you can use Chark for one thing though. That's all he's good for. Hey, I mean, I'm just saying. I don't think it's a bad idea to maybe look on the matter of fact, let's look at the free agent thing. That DJ just asked the question, said who else do you think you could get at wide receiver? Well, not only that, but remember, once that third week is over, when they make the cuts, and I think the cuts are like the last week of August. Once they make those cuts, we'll be able to see. Let's look at it together, y'all. Let me pull this up, and then I'm gonna bring it on the screen. What are we looking at? Wide receiver. There's not a lot out there because I know when Keenan Allen signing, that kind of let's see. Wide receiver. There we go. All right, let's pull that up, and then for all of the vision impaired people, let's pull up. There. Let's pull it up a little bit so we can look at it together. All right, as of right, let's see available. There we go. Now Keenan Allen just signed, as we just said. Keenan Allen just signed. Amari Cooper is still out there. So, and he's definitely not going to get $20 million. He's interesting. Gabriel Davis, late of Buffalo. I know he played for Jacksonville last year, but Buffalo was where he made his bones. And then really after that, it kind of drops down pretty. Remember how good Jamison Crowder was when he first came out? And now Allen Robinson is somebody interesting. Brandon Powell, Tyler Boyd. So not a lot to choose from. So I don't know. It will be interesting to see. Demetrius said, I remember in Madden, I stacked the Falcons defense with some defensive beats. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, is that crazy? I told my son when he was talking about that. Yeah, and I know Madden doesn't count for in there, but, man, we got 4 Falcons with a 90 rating. That's pretty solid. When the last time you heard that? Never. Millie says, bring back Justin Hardy. Amadi says, I thought Amari Cooper retired. I now they usually don't show on here whether their status is retired or not. They just show who's available. He may have retired, Armani, but right now he's not connected to a team. So, yeah. Disability. Yeah, Allen Robinson still play. Yeah, but Allen Robinson is not super old. He's only 32. I mean, and I know in wide receiver world, that's pretty old. But I mean, he's not that super old, I guess. We'll see. Y'all crazy, man. Y'all got the man in the old folk home. He said Amari Cooper get passed around like a blunt. Oh man, not the puff pass. Y'all look crazy. Carl, what's going on, man? Here at Uncle Steve's Lounge, man. Sitting here just talking about the Atlanta Falcons, man, 2025, 72 hours away from the first preseason, less than 72 hours away from the first preseason game of the year. There is so much of a part of me that wants to go down to the stadium. And then there's another part of me that's like, man, I'll watch it at home. So we'll see. I might even try to come up, may possibly even come up Thursday if there's somebody that hadn't been to the stadium or whatever, whatnot. We just might do something for you on Thursday prior to the game. We will get that together and let you know. Somebody says I was gonna say get passed around like something. Thank you, nephew, for realizing that we're the Sesame Street of Atlanta content creators. Sunny day. I appreciate you, nephew. He tried to give me on HBO After Dark on here or something. Y'all wrong, man. But your analogy isn't wrong. I know what you're saying. Oh man, y'all are a fool, man. I love this chat, man. Y'all are keeping it real today. Listen, hey, we're gonna wrap it up today. I had planned on going on for only about an hour, but the chat was so good and the questions were so nice, man. I appreciate that. If anybody is coming in and seeing this after the fact, please make sure you give your answers on the screen and make sure that you answer the questions. We appreciate you here. For all of you in the chat, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all joining us. I'll probably, like I say, I might pop in Thursday, right before the game day, just to check the temperature on everything and see what's going on. In the meantime, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, I appreciate you joining me as well. Everyone out there, have a blessed evening. Appreciate y'all. Go Falcons, man. I think the excitement level, man, it's higher than it's been for a while. I think we can keep this thing up and keep it rolling. I think I look forward to some great things happening for 2025 Atlanta Falcons. Until then, everyone have a great night. Rise up and take care. This is Uncle Steve here in Uncle Steve's Lounge.
You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. You're in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Gonna sit down, have a good